What's up, y'all? Hey, did anyone else take off early from work last Friday to watch a 0-0 draw? And are you excited that are you happy that you did that? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a couple matches. Oh, yes. And we have our Playing for Pride fantasy soccer competition all tonight. Welcome to the Podcast of Champions. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
And the air leaves Al Lang Stadium in one large exhale. Trouble. Arozarena's beat. Orange County opens the scoring. It's Thomas. Kuninga scores! The old guard with a new trophy.
This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. Follow us on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast or on Facebook at Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Samora, and I'm here to take you through the journey as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club. Let's run through the panel here and see who we got tonight. First, as always, we always mention this guy first when he makes it on time, and that is Mr. Dylan. Dylan, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. I just want to say I might be late now and then, but I have perfect attendance. So
only because we give you the credit for those times you show up just for a little smidge of time there.
They still count. But glad to be here. Excited to talk some footy and do their thing up there. Hopefully repeat my win.
Yes, so we're definitely going to talk about some soccer, or what Dylan's calling footy, and we will do our Playing for Pride soccer. It's a twist and a change on how we've done things in the past for that, and we'll explain that. But let's first head up north and west to the city of Reno, and that is Brad up there. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing quite well. Organizing fun little fake fantasy sport competitions is kind of fun.
It is kind of fun, and that's why we like to do this. And we do it for a good cause. We do it to try and get a little bit of money going towards Playing for Pride, Athlete Alley, and we'll talk more about that as we go. But first, if you notice, we're not going to have, or if you didn't know, we don't have Alan here tonight. So we decided let's get someone else with a beard that can compete with Mr. Allen. We're bringing on for the first time on our show, Mr. Fat Guy running himself, Larry. How you doing, Larry?
I'm doing great, guys, and my beard smokes Allen's. It's not even close.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Already calling the shots. And you got your green screen, but you got someone trying to peek through in the green screen there, as we can see the magic of technology. So I believe that's Grayson, right?
It is. It is. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate the invite.
No, we're glad you're able to join us and hang out with us tonight. You're sort of representing the fans in our Playing for Pride, although all the fans are going to get to compete in that, and we'll discuss how that goes first. But first, let's talk about the pitch action. We have 3 matches to discuss, one that happened this past weekend and 2 upcoming. So let's first talk about that amazing, wonderful, exciting 0-0 draw in Atlanta against Atlanta United 2. Last week, I remember, people were dropping stats last week about how Atlanta United likes to give up goals and they can't score goals. Well, one of those became true. They couldn't score a goal thanks to an amazing save by Patrick Rakowski that is nominated for Save of the Week. But unfortunately, they found their defense at the wrong time for Orange County fans. I'm going to go to you first, Dylan. What happened? Was Atlanta just better defensively in this match, or was this more Orange County's struggle on the offensive end?
No, we just couldn't put it in the back of the net. This game should have been 3-4-0 at least. Yeah, it feels like a loss, right? We played this absolutely horrible team that ships 3 goals a game and just couldn't put one on target, which is frustrating. And I kind of would have accepted if we just looked lethargic after flying out to Atlanta, Kennesaw, where they technically play, but now we were just there and just could not convert. And that's a bit frustrating. I mean, we're looking at Kubo just miss kind of an easy attempt. He's scored much harder and probably should be scoring those and knows he can score those. So a little disappointing in that regard. But oh well, three games coming up to kind of fix that.
I mean, there wasn't a lack of opportunities and chances for Orange County, as we're seeing on these highlights. If you're watching on the live video stream or on the recorded video stream, there were plenty of opportunities that I guess last year's team puts away at least half of those. And this year's squad just cannot figure it out for some reason on some of these matches. Brad, do you think the final resort on this, a 0-0 draw, is an unlucky result for Orange County? Did they deserve to come away with the full 3 points? Or is there something you're watching in this match you're like, yeah, that was the outcome, that's what should have happened?
It's a rough thing to really, I don't know how to say it. Just the team should have put more balls in the net. There should have been at least 2 goals, and we just couldn't find it. There's no excuse. And then the one time we do put it in, it's offside. So there's no excuse. This team should have scored goals. Rutkowski did a good job making sure we didn't give up any goals. I don't know if the pitch was playing too fast because it was dusty or what was going on, but players just couldn't connect. It was a sloppy game at times and definitely a poor result on the road.
So let's go to our let's go to Larry here, sort of the representative of the fans, even though we're all fans, right? So I mean, it's hard to say that you're strictly a fan representative. A, did you get to watch the match? Did you take time off from work to watch the match live? And B, how scared were you and that goal that was called offside in like the 93rd, 94th minute of action there for Atlanta?
Wasn't scared because it was clear he was offside. There was no doubt in my mind on that part. As for taking time off, I was lucky enough to finally, after 26 months, catch me a case of the COVID. So woohoo! I was home anyway. But even if I had been at work or had that and been home, I'd have been off work in time to see it. So I did get to watch the game. It was ugly. That pitch was horrible. You could see guys were just losing their footing the entire time. It made it hard to get good control of the ball. Missing out, not having Miko in the lineup, I think was a huge detractor for the team. He's such a catalyst when he's out there. And you know, Brad hit it really well when he said sloppy. I thought the team was very sloppy. In my typical fashion, I spent a lot of time yelling at the TV. It makes Carrie crazy, but I do it anyway. So yeah, I think the game feels like a loss. I think it's probably lucky that Atlanta didn't put one in the back of the net against us.
So based off that last comment, do you think it should have been a loss for Orange County? Did we get lucky to leave with a draw? Or do you think Orange County, just for whatever reason, they had quality chances, they should have left with 3 points, they just couldn't figure it out?
That it ended 0-0 makes me feel like we got lucky that they didn't score. I think that given the chances that we had out there, the team should have put at least minimum 2 in the back of the net with the opportunities that were there, and they just didn't. That header from I think it was Brent who headed it down to Kubo, and Kubo just couldn't get his foot on it, and he was, he's basically sitting on the line there. That should have been a goal. Iloski could have had at least a couple. We should have walked away with 3 points. There's no question in my mind on that. But the 0-0, OCSC has a bad tendency of giving up dumb goals late. And we all know this. We're all completely familiar with this. So I was getting a little bit nervous in that aspect. So when it ended up finishing 0-0, I was fine. Well, I mean, not fine with it. I was unhappy with it. But yeah, it was just an ugly game. There's really no other way to describe it but ugly.
Well, and now obviously that's why I asked, how scared were you on that goal, that called back goal in the 94th minute of extra, in extra time there, that would have given Atlanta the full 3 points and we would have been coming home with no results. Our man Alan always says, Dylan, on the road, get a draw, at home, get the win. So are we at least happy to get some sort of result in Atlanta, or is this a missed opportunity that maybe a few months from now, Orange County is going to be looking back as a reason why they're either out of the playoffs or very low on the playoff ladder?
It looks like it's going to be out of the playoffs. I know it's just rounding into June, but we still look so poor. No, this is one. Right, there's exceptions to that. Sometimes you play a really good team at home and you drop points, and sometimes you play really bad teams on the road and you expect to get points. And the performance said that we should have picked up points. I mean, somehow the 13 shots and the one target, and a lot of opportunities in there. And we need to put those away because, I mean, looking at some of the games we've played this year, 2-1, 1-1, 2-1, a 5-2 win, a 5-1 loss, a 5-1 win. The ability is there to score. So, yeah, the ability in the play that they actually had, this one should have been a win. Should have been 3 points. Because this is when you can circle when the schedule comes out. You can say, "Oh, we can get all 3 points."
Should be able to get 3 points,
even if we're tired, even if the pitch is horrible, even if the refereeing is not great, even if it should have been a pen, even if some guy that's 6'5" should have won a free header in the box, still should have gotten 3 points.
Brad, I'll give you a question, then we'll let Larry wrap things up on this match. Can we blame this weird Friday kickoff at 4:30 Pacific time as to any excuse, or can we give that as an excuse for Orange County as to why maybe they played sloppily in this match, being that A, they typically aren't playing on a Friday, B, their bodies aren't set to play on a East Coast kickoff time. I mean, that's just what the USL has been the last few years, is the West Coast has stayed West Coast, East Coast has stayed East Coast. So your body's not used to having a kickoff at 4:30 Pacific time, body time on a weekday, let alone a weekend. Can we use that as any kind of excuse, or is this just flat up a poor result for Orange County?
Atlanta United 2 is, I don't want to call them a poor team because I know that they had some members that got reintroduced into the squad that are definitely of USL/MLS Verge talent. However, this isn't something we can blame on the East Coast travel. The team is better than this, and I know that we also had a 0-0 draw in our sole travel out east last season to Charleston, but I feel like that point of the year we were playing poor. At this point, the team needs to figure out how to put goals into the net, how to put the ball into the net, and it's like everything's there except for the ball crossing the line. The setup is there. The players are in the right spot where they need to be. The movement looks better from the beginning of the season. The ball doesn't get to the back of the net.
And really quick, before we get to Larry for a final thought on this match, our producer's throwing up a comment there on the social medias that he feels like the Eastern Conference team should have to come to us. We did have FC Tulsa. They visited us, and they're technically an East Coast or Eastern Conference team, but they're center of the country Eastern Conference, which sort of sucks. So far, we've had to go to Indianapolis. We've had to go to Atlanta. Not very fun for us in those results. Larry, last thoughts? Anything you want to say lastly on this match against Atlanta before we move on to some previews and figure out what's going to happen next for Orange County?
I would rather just move on from Atlanta. I've never liked the city anyway.
Well, my dad went to college there. Hey, and my cousins live there.
Don't.
It's not personal.
We got some battles going on down here. I think Brad's not going to be a Larry fan after this episode if things keep going this way.
Nobody is. I'm okay with it.
So weird scheduling this time of year, and why is it always? It seems like, because I think last year we always talked about the dreaded June scheduling, and it seems like we're hitting right before June this year. We're getting to this weird schedule mix where we have a Friday kickoff in Atlanta, followed up by a Wednesday kickoff in Oakland. Not the nicest or the most friendly of travel for the defending champions. I know there's the conspiracy theories that the USL is trying to punish us for winning the championship last year, so they're giving us a poor schedule. They're giving us poor travel. I mean, are you upset, Dylan, that we're having to go from Atlanta, get a couple days in between a match, and then have to go to Oakland? I know Oakland's not far, but it's hard when you have to travel back to back within less than a week, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of travel. And it's we're trying to keep this family friendly, but it's unacceptable. Um, if it's not obvious that they're screwing us, it's kind of us playing Tampa again, like having a title rematch and still having to go to Al Lang Stadium in St. Pete is a complete joke. But it's not much of a secret, I think, that the league isn't a huge fan of Orange County for a lot of reasons. Some of those are historical, some of those are a little more new. But yeah, it's just frustrating, and I feel the worst for the players who, imagine you're a Daniel Peterson, imagine you're a Milan Iwaski, imagine you're literally anyone who just played, and you've flown all the way to Atlanta, thankfully probably a direct flight. You've played in Atlanta. You've flown back. You've probably had a day off, maybe one day of training, and a bus or a flight up to Oakland. And they're going to, take it right back down here, day off, maybe a little bit of training, and straight into another game. So I know the players like to play a lot of games, but I don't think they like that much travel, because that is a brutal week.
Well, and let's remember too, this is USL Championship. This is not where teams are doing chartered flights where they get their private flights to and from the matches. They're probably flying on whatever the cheapest flight was to get to Atlanta, whether it be Southwest, Delta, or any other airline. And it's going to be similar, like Dylan said, maybe even a bus ride up to Oakland, because that's feasible in that. I'm going to ask Brad. I'm going to give you a homework assignment, Brad. You're going to have to put together maybe some sort of calculation of the miles traveled for each of the teams and see where Orange County stands. I don't know if that's too much to ask of you, if you have the time to do that, but let's figure out, because Orange County has had to go out to Indianapolis, Atlanta, and they will have to go out to Tampa Bay sometime later this season. Those are some pretty far matches to make. And we already know a West Coast team is probably going to have the longest travel, just because it's such a spread out area of the country when you're in the Western Conference. But let's just sort of see, where does Orange County stand? Maybe there's an argument to be made that, the conspiracy theories are real. We're getting sort of shafted or screwed on the schedule. Brad, this Oakland match, we just recently faced Oakland, and it wasn't the funnest outcome, correct? If I can remember correctly, remind me if I'm wrong. Did we already face Oakland? We did, right? Yes. And it was a 2-2 draw.
And we gave up a
draw
goal
at home.
92nd or 96th minute, right before the whistle. It was one of those games like the Sacramento one from last season.
So what are your thoughts? Is this just sort of, is this one of those matches that Orange County maybe says, let's just not even worry about this match and let's focus on the upcoming match on Saturday because of the lack of time between matches, just the weird scheduling? Or is there something Orange County maybe can do to steal 3 points in Oakland?
I don't think at this point in the season you can say, as an Orange County player and fan, that these games are ones that you can just write off, especially against your conference opponents, ones that are going to be near you in the table at the end of the season. This Oakland Roots team is a lot better than they were last season. They have been playing a lot better so far this season. Where are they sitting so far on the table? I believe they're
12th out of 13 teams in the Western Conference, Brad.
But you have to remember last time at this season they were the bottom ranked team, averaging under 1 point a game. And
they would be the bottom ranked team if Monterey Bay wasn't a team in the Western Conference, and that's saying a lot there, right? I mean, Monterey Bay hasn't looked great so far this season.
They've looked better in their last 2 games. But you can't at this point in the season say that we shouldn't be fighting for points wherever we can get them. I'm not disappointed, especially because this is the road game to Oakland. I'm not disappointed in a draw. However, I'm fully expecting the team to at least put in the effort to win. This team is better. This team is better than we give them credit for. However, they need to start winning some of these games. And yeah, Peter from the Oakland Roots blog said it perfectly. They have 7 draws in the season and are doing really well at scrounging up some points. I know that they've been behind in a lot of games so far this season. But Oakland Roots are not a team to be slept on. They're in the same boat as we are. They need to start winning. We need to start winning. And if you look at that table, if we win on Wednesday, we're jumping up to 7th place instead of 11th. And we'll still have a game in hand over the current 7th place team, which is Vegas Lights, and a game ahead of Sac Republic. So we need to start winning these games. It's very close and contentious in the West Coast right now.
Larry, your turn to answer a question, and then you can give your just overall thoughts on what you think with this upcoming match. I'm going to give you this question. The match against Atlanta was the first clean sheet for Patrick Hurkowski and Orange County's defense all season. Is that the bright side of the match in Atlanta, that we were able to keep the clean sheets? Maybe the defense can get on that roll, which let's all be honest, last year's championship was based off of really good defense at the second half of the season, or at least when Chaplow took over. Is this a turning point for that defense? Because they've struggled to keep the ball out of the net all season. And is that something you're looking forward to, maybe getting back-to-back clean sheets now at this time?
Clean sheet against Atlanta too is kind of like throwing a no-hitter against the Oakland A's. It's just not really all that impressive for those of you who are baseball fans. Hey, look, Rack getting the clean sheet, great. He's got one in his back pocket now for the season. He hasn't had one yet. This is not the clean sheet to hang your hat on and be proud of. But the Atlanta team was not that good, I don't think. Pat made a great save off of that header. But yeah, I don't think that necessarily opens up the door for the defense to start playing better than what they've been playing.
Well, I mean, let's bring in a different sports analogy, because you wanted to bring up the Oakland A's no-hitter thing. Hey, in like a sport like say basketball, right? A shooter is struggling. What did they tell him to do? Go and get a layup, or go drive and get fouled and get a free throw, because that'll open up the net for you. Is that not an argument for this? Then we've gotten the clean sheet, even though it was against Atlanta. Larry compares it to getting a no-hitter against the A's. No disrespect for any Oakland fans that may be listening to us. Obviously, he probably threw out Oakland because that's our upcoming opponent. So that's just sort of a double thing. But yeah, Oakland baseball is not the most financially backed baseball team in the world.
No.
And let me ask you this then, Larry, since we're not so excited about that clean sheet, what do we want out of Orange County? What does Orange County need to do to come away with 3 points in Oakland? And do you think that's actually a possibility, or do you think a draw is more the realistic goal?
I'm kind of concerned about this game. Back a few weeks ago, we said there was a 10-game run coming up, and the team needed to take 20 points out of that 10 games. So far in the first 3 games, we got 5 points. And that's not pretty. That leaves us 7 games for 13 points to stay in the playoff hunt. Oakland is 1 point behind us. The last time we played them, that was the Park the Bus game before we played Tulsa and whipped the ass off of Tulsa. 69% possession to 31 on our home turf. If our boys go out and do that again, we're not going to get out of there with a 2-2 draw. We're not. We're going to walk out of there with a loss and not get any points. If the team can come out of there with a point, I will actually be happy with that result. Oakland has lost, I think I wrote it down. They've only lost 1 of their last 8 games. Or it might even be that they might be undefeated in their last 8 games. Most of them ties. We haven't lost in 5. I think that if we park the bus again, if we are not attacking, then we're going to walk out of there with our tails between our legs and come stumbling back here to face New Mexico on Saturday.
So I think what we're learning about Oakland is, if this team was playing in the 80s when it was 2 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, they'd be sitting pretty. But because of teams doing that back in the days, they changed it to 3 points for the win, 1 point for the draw to fix that and stop that from happening. Let's do this really quick. We need to figure out some score predictions for this match. Let's go to our contest right now really quick. Brad's not ready for it, so who cares though? He was doing something else and he's trying to talk, but he's got his mic muted. So
I had it open. I had it open, but I forgot and I had to scroll to the other screen.
So last week wasn't pretty for most, not just us, but most people that are Orange County fans. Dylan actually built his lead from last week because he at least predicted a draw, even though he didn't get any of the numbers right. He did predict a draw. So he got 4 points last week. I believe Brad picked up some points, but Alan
I
and
got a
myself
clean
didn't get
sheet, yeah.
anything. So with that said, here's our standings for the podcast guys. Dylan's still in first with 44, stretching that lead a little bit. He was getting scared that Alan and I were catching up, so he went and decided to be smart, I guess, last week. And then you can see the rest of y'all. It still looks like it's Emrod who is leading out of the fan guesses. What do we got? Is Larry part of this, or is it just Grayson?
No,
Looks like it's just Grayson.
No, Grayson is me.
Yeah.
Oh, Grayson is Larry.
My
All right.
my other
So-
screen name is El Patron de Grayson.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that's where we're getting Grayson on here. So
Correct.
you're
Do you want me to
you're
change it?
looking.
Nah, it doesn't matter.
Let's just say this, right? Larry's looking like more of an expert than most of us on this podcast with his 43 points there on predicting this. For those of you not aware, we just do predictions. We give points based on predictions, and we've made it a goal that if any of you fans can beat the top score out of us, quote unquote experts, we will give you some sort of prize. So right now that would only be Nathan and Emrod, but Grayson or Larry is really close right there, and a few of you still have room to make up. Logan's at 42, Mr. Exclusive Insider himself. Let's figure this out. Let's do some predictions for this match. And I'm going to go to you first, Dylan, because you're in the lead. What is your prediction for this match against Oakland?
Both of these teams love to draw. 1-1
from Dylan.
I've already written it down before you even asked him. I already written down his score. He hasn't changed it except for twice in the whole season.
Okay. I've got to do this, man, because he'd always give me a hard time for going with a 5-0 score line. I kept repeating it. He'd get mad at me. We're going to have to start getting mad at you, Dylan, for your repeated score lines.
Hey, man, that's fine. But, like, realistically, we're not a good team. So it's a very, very realistic suggestion that we would concede a goal. Up until last week, we managed that every single game.
All
and
right,
we might
so
score one because Milanoski is, really freaking good.
Mr. Richard Chaplow, if you're listening, Dylan thinks we don't have a good team, or Mr. Oliver Dylan says we don't have a good team. So just shoot. He's not on Twitter anymore, so you have to find another way. Maybe let's give out his home address and you can send him an actual old school mail letter through the mail of your displeasure of him, folks.
Please do. Yeah.
What is that address, Dylan?
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
What city? Zip code, state.
That's going to be
I
Washington, D.C. Yeah.
I love that whoever
What state
is
is
in
that?
the room with Dylan chuckled at that address when that address was given away. Let me ask you, Brad, did we get a prediction from Mr. Allen, who's tied for second place with me?
No, we did not.
Ooh, we get to pick Allen's prediction then, because he did not provide one for this match.
Wah,
And I'm going to
wah.
assume he didn't predict the other match too, so we're going to get to mess with Allen a little bit on here.
Wah.
So how do we want to do this? Larry, as the guest, I'm going to let you tell us how we want to pick Allen's score for prediction for Oakland.
How close is Allen sitting in the standings?
He is tied
He is
with
in
Ray, I
second
believe.
place with 37 points. He
No.
is 7
Yes.
points behind Dylan for first place.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, then I want to try to help Allen out. So I'm going to say 17-16 Oakland.
16, 7.
Wow.
Got it.
That
There
would be
we go.
exciting if nothing
Helpful.
else.
we should just get Larry like a trombone or something, and he can just basically be Allen 2.0. He's got the beard already. He's got, although he doesn't sit with a shower curtain behind him or whatever it is, but whatever. What is it that you got in that glass there, Mr. Larry?
Because this is a special occasion, it's the first time that I have been invited to come talk on the podcast. I pulled out my special occasion bottle. That is a Redbreast
Oh, Red
12-year-old
Yep.
Irish whiskey. It is magnificent. You get about 2 ounces of whiskey. You get about a third of an ounce of water, and oh my God, it's magnificent.
A little much
Brad,
on the water.
once you said water, the water.
No.
amount, Brad was like
The
your
water.
face.
I agree with water.
Oh, the
Water
amount, but
belongs
the
in
amount,
whiskey.
The amount.
A third
the
of an ounce is a lot of water, in my opinion. But
Oh,
I'm also a
third of an
whiskey
ounce of
snob.
a drop. It's nothing.
Wait. But can we say this? We'll get back to our predictions. I know I like to sidetrack sometimes,
Sorry.
but you do know that our partner club is from Scotland. So shouldn't you be drinking a scotch?
Redbreast is good.
Hey, you know what?
Redbreast is
I'm not a Scotch drinker. It just doesn't work for me.
All right. Honest, that's perfect. Let me get my prediction in. I'm going to predict 1-0 Orange County. I think we're getting another another clean sheet. I think this is going to go on a roll. This is the getting fouled and going to the free throw line and knocking down your 2 free throws for Patrick Rakowski. He's in line for a couple shutouts, 2 or 3 in a row here. So the Atlanta was the first one. Let's get another one right here. Brad, you have some room to make up. What are you going to do for your prediction?
Wait. Did you mention your prediction? I did not catch yours.
Is this typical, Larry? Do people not listen to me when I talk?
I'm sorry, what?
I guess so. Maybe I should just shut up.
All right, so I had written down 5-0 Oakland, but what was your actual prediction?
1-0 OC.
Okay. I did write it down correctly on the form. Cool.
Okay.
My prediction, this is the must-win game of the week slate that I feel like we need to win. I have 2-1 Orange County.
The must-win game of the week, 2-1 Orange County for Brad. Larry, what's your prediction so we can add it on here, and then we'll let everyone else.
Brad just said it. We have got to come out of Oakland with 3 points. We have to. 2-1 OCSC.
Good choice.
There we go.
Let's
So
hope that's true.
equalizing there. Anyone else listening, share your predictions anywhere on the chats for this live stream, social media, on the Discord. Share with us what you think your prediction is for this match, and we'll keep track of it. Brad's doing a good job of that. Thank you, Brad, for doing that. One other match to look forward to before we wrap all of this on Field Talk, and this is an upcoming match. This upcoming, Saturday at home against New Mexico United. It's a hour early kickoff at Championship Soccer Stadium. It's also going to be Pride Night for the team, which I'm going to say this right now. I'm excited to see that the club has been focusing more on this. I believe our first year, I know for a fact our first year doing this, no one from the club mentioned anything about Pride Month. And I think we only heard from Aiden Quinn as a player as far as, in support of playing for Pride or Athlete Alley or even just, Pride Month. It's definitely a swing in what the club is doing for some of this. And so they're doing an actual Pride Night, which is awesome to see. I think I hear even rumors or thoughts that Caroline Coalition is going to do something or try and do something to represent that in their section as well. We'll see what happens with that. I'm going to go to you first, Larry. New Mexico United, the last time we played them, I think I got seasick because the camera work in New Mexico was not the greatest, but I think it was a draw. It was a 1-1 draw.
1-1.
1-1.
Yeah, 1-1.
So take down.
Game Milan was about an inch or less away from having a brace and us winning that game 2-1.
And we all can recall that's probably up to this point, probably one of the celebrations of the year from a player was Milan Olaski leading the band of the curse, I guess. Was it to the curse fans or the curse the supporters being the band leader, which was pretty amazing. Although we did learn from Alan that he wasn't doing it correctly. So, but nothing, Milan's not a band member. We know that. I know it's hard when you look, we have Oakland still between now and then, but just quickly, thoughts on this, Dylan, this match against New Mexico. Is this one winnable? And I believe this one's actually on pay TV, as far as over the air or cable TV or whatever on ESPN to port this. So if you want to listen in Spanish, you can, and you don't have to have ESPN Plus or Bally Sports or whatever. But what do you think on this match, Dylan? Is this one that we can get 3 points out of being at home against New Mexico?
I'll pull the Brad for a second. They're all winnable games. There's no reason why we can't come away with something in this one. I said it last time. New Mexico has it in their DNA that they want to give up late goals. So all we have to do is not concede for 90 minutes. We could probably come away with a 1-0 victory. Why not start even earlier and maybe score a couple more, make it really difficult for them? But yeah, they're kind of afflicted with the same, no pun intended, curse as we are, and their inability to get through stoppage time without conceding. So why not get 3 points?
Let me go to you next, Brad. We all know, it's well documented. Any USL fan knows this, that there's this huge rivalry between New Mexico and Phoenix. And the New Mexico fans tend to want to talk trash on Phoenix. So obviously where I'm going with this is Orange County just signed a player that last played for Phoenix. Is that bad timing from Orange County putting a Phoenix player on the roster, and that's giving maybe New Mexico a reason to want to beat us just because there's this Phoenix tie? Or is, keep in mind, it's a player that may not play much in the match, but is that just bad timing to do that for Orange County? Should they have waited at least till next week to announce the signing?
Are you sure that you don't live in Nevada with all this like gambler like philosophy and like luck and superstition? Calm down. Like,
Dude,
it's a player
I'm
signing.
I'm the one that needs to make this interesting. So I like to ask the interesting questions. I don't want to just say, hey, give us your breakdown of the match, Dylan. Give us the breakdown of the match, Brad. Hey, Larry, what's the breakdown of the match? Or what do you think is going to happen? I got to ask these random questions. And this is just one that literally popped to my head right before I got to you, Brad. So that's why you got this question.
No, I mean, I'm a superstitious person, but we're really grasping at straws with the idea that the players really have that much of like a care about, oh, this person's from Phoenix. They just beat Phoenix 7-0. Sorry, the Baby Birds 7-0. So I
Well, I
think
think
they're
you were
more
having
just
fun with that match too, Brad. You were enjoying that match, I think, on social media.
yes.
At least
I
on our
had a lot of
behind the scenes chats, I think.
fun. That was a fun match to watch.
Larry, Russell, who's listening live, said Chris Wehan's the X factor in this match. Based off that comment alone, is that a good sign for Orange County or a bad sign for Orange County?
Chris is a great player. He's a great player. He's a class act. He's a nice guy. X factor, I don't think I would agree with that. Simply based upon the last game that we played against him, he was not a factor, if I remember correctly, because it was really early in the season, 2 months ago. I don't remember him really being much of a factor at all in that game. And Dylan, you probably have a better memory of it than I do, possibly. I could be completely wrong. So the X factor in the game is, as I've talked about earlier, it's our defense. Our defense is the X factor every week, and whether or not they can perform on the back line.
All right, so let me ask you this, Larry. This question's for you as a fan, and this is totally going a little off topic here. But Albie Skendi, what position does he play for Orange County?
All of them. He's been up front. He's been a wing. He's been a center back. He's played it right back. Only thing he hasn't done is play goalie. So, and he's big enough to play goalie. He is not the fleetest of foot. Personal opinion, and keep in mind, I don't know squat. Center back next to Michael. He's a bigger, slower version of, less talented version of Rob Kiernan. Again, love the guy. I've talked to him a few times. Super nice, great guy, good personality. Love the fact that he's 6'5", and on those corners he can get up high and get put that ball, get his head on the ball and put it down into the back of the net. Maybe a couple more times this year would be great. I think he should be as a center back playing in the middle there with Michael.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think he should be the center of the center back trio because we're playing a back three, right? I still am very confused as to why he's on the outside portion where you need a little bit more pace, but that's the reason I'm not a USL Championship head coach. I'm only a U12 youth soccer coach out there. Let's get our predictions in for New Mexico. We'll go reverse order this time. So we'll go to who's in last place first. So Brad, you get to pick first, your first score for this match. It's sort of an advantage for Dylan in doing this because now he can listen to all of ours and play it safe.
Dylan's going to choose the same score. I've already written it down. See, he's even nodding about it. I'm really doubtful that this one's a win. In fact, I think this one's realistically a draw. However, I want to put the good mojo energy out there. So I'm just going to repeat what I said for Oakland. We need to start winning some of these games 2-1.
All right. And what I'm going to do is we let Larry pick Alan's prediction the first time for this match. Whatever fan wants to throw a comment in first and foremost, whoever gets theirs in first for Alan's prediction, just type in Alan and what his score prediction will be. We will count that as his prediction officially. My prediction for this match is going to be 2-1 Orange County. 2-1 Orange County.
Original scoreline.
Yeah. I've just got to say it for you at this point. Oh, there we go. Alan is predicting a 2-1. Wow, Mikey, you're very nice to Alan. It means I should change mine then because I want to be able to at least get past Alan, right? I'm gonna say 2-0 Orange County.
Hold on. Do we want to go on technicality here? Mikey did spell Alan's name incorrectly.
No, we'll give it to him. I mean,
Okay.
it would be like if someone came on and spelled, Dilhon or something like that for Dylan and say that's his prediction. I mean, we would still give it to them. Dilhon.
Mikey, we do need your predictions for both games this weekend. I know
yeah,
you
so
just-
Alan gets 2-1. So Brad, you got me down for my 2-0 then.
Yes, you
Dylan,
did change.
What is your prediction?
1. Shocking. I know.
Brad, can you just put that down for the rest of the season for Dylan's predictions? That
No,
way,
he might get
we'll just lock
wild
him in.
and like change
Save
from
yourself some time. You can
missionary.
change it.
He might
when
get
you need it.
he might go a little crazy and say 2-2 or something like that, right? All right, let's get into this next portion here. Let's talk
Whoa!
about
You're missing somebody here.
who?
Our bottom left corner here.
Larry. Yeah, Larry. What's your prediction? Your actual.
I got
prediction.
you.
Sorry.
I don't think you want to hear my prediction because this is why I'll probably never be invited back. 2-1 New Mexico.
No,
Yeah, you're
that's
welcome
not
back
an
for that.
unreasonable prediction.
It's all part of the master plan. We want to become experts, and that's part of it is trying to learn how to predict matches properly. Hence, I haven't done many of my 5-0, my world famous 5-0 predictions this season. And I do say world famous because we have been listened to across the globe per the Google Analytics. We've been listened to in Russia and in Australia and in some parts of Africa and South America. So world famous all around the world, all around the globe. Let's move on now. Every year in the month of June, we like to do a little fantasy game that we do to help support Playing for Pride and Athlete Alley. Every year, the losers donate money, although even the winner donates money as well. And as a podcast, we donate some money too as well. And this typically what we did is we just did a draft. Everyone picked players. No one could have the same players, and we would see where it ended up. But Brad said, nope, don't like that. We're going to change things up. And he did things his way, like Frank Sinatra sings. So Brad, give us the rules of how this new Playing for Pride fantasy soccer works.
All right. So in the past, especially when you guys were the 4 of you guys making predictions, there have been some really good ways of doing it. A snake draft for 24 players is a really good way of doing it. However, there are now 5 of us, and we wanted to open up the floor for fans to join this year. And a snake draft where every single team got 5 players from Orange County literally is impossible unless we're starting to pick up players we hope could join the team in the future, like Ray's
Chris
favorite
Cortez.
player. I was going to say Harry Kane, but Chris Cortez is a good example too. So because of that, I was hoping that, and we have changed up the system a little bit this year, to kind of flip over to a different system. I call it a salary cap. Essentially, each team is given a budget to spend on players. I arbitrarily named it $13. So every team has lucky $13 to spend. And
really quick, Brad, can you give us
Yes.
a scientific method behind the $13 and how each player's was given a value?
So I chose everything. Therefore, I have an advantage. And when I come in last place again this year, I have only myself to blame. No. We looked at it and said, hey, or I looked at it and said, hey, every player should be given a chance to be on someone's roster. But if you're going to want to have one of the higher producing players like Milan Oloski or Cuba Torres, you're going to need to cough up some serious dough. So that's why those players are worth the most at $5. They're the only 2 players worth $5. Miko Kaningas is statistically one of the better scoring players so far this year. He is a value of 4, and goalies, like I said last year, have a little bit of a slanted curve to earning more points, or have the ability to earn more points based on their performance. And plus, they're going to start pretty much every game. So that's why Rakovsky's a 4. However, if you are a sadist and think Rakovsky might get hurt during the month of June, that's why Colton Collin. What is his name? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Colton Collin.
Colin Shuttler. That's what it is. The T in Shuttler confused me. He's worth $1 if you really think that Rakowski's going to need a day of rest. So you move down the list. Prices are on the form, which I have linked in the Google chat that we have. It's also in a million different places at this point. I think it's on the Reddit, the Discord, the Facebook. It'll be on the Twitter at some point. But every team is given $13. You spend it appropriately. And this way, everybody has the chance to get the players they want on their team. There's no draft where someone gets kind of scuffed by picking 6th and 7th and then not getting another player until pick number 13, 14. So hopefully this new system works out very well. Everyone gets the players they want. But $13 still allows you to kind of be forced to pick some of the lower end players. There are some really good deals in there. So go check it out, sign up. And even though we're going to make donations towards Athlete Ally, there is no mandatory you must donate to play and sign up. We just ask that you do donate because we here at Orange and Black Soccer Cast, this is a cause very near and dear to our hearts.
All right, so here's the big question I have for you, Brad. I know some people have already submitted their rosters. What is the percentage of rosters that have Patrick Rakowski on their roster? That's the big question here. I would assume most, but who knows?
Let's see. The percentage is 71.4. 5 out of the 7 teams that have drafted so far include Patrick Rakowski, and all of those teams picked him first overall.
Perfect. So let's do this. Let's figure things out here. Dylan, did you submit your roster? And if so, do you remember your roster?
I have not yet submitted.
All right. So Dylan has not yet submitted. Get yours in, Dylan, because we want to hear who you are picking.
I will.
Okay. But we did, I think Alan submitted his, correct, Brad?
Yes, Alan did.
All right. So let us know who Alan drafted for his roster, if you may.
So I'm going to go in his pick order. So with his $13, Alan picked Milan Oloski, worth 5. Miko Kaningas, worth 4. Daniel Peterson, worth 3. Tommy McCabe, worth 1. And Jonathan Gomez for the discount value of 0. That's $13.
I'm very interested in how many people are going to pick one of those 0 players so they can have some more of the higher producing players in their roster. Did Larry submit his? That's the question I wanted. Larry, did you submit your roster yet?
Not yet, but
No.
I got it right here.
Oh, you got it. Do you want to announce who you're going to pick?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's see what Larry's got on his roster.
All right, my number 1 pick, big man in the center, Albie. Followed up by my favorite Dane outside of Thomas Enevolson, Daniel Peterson. One of my favorites of the 3 Oloski brothers, Milan. Stanford Cardinal, Hunter Gorski. And Notre Dame Fighting Irishman, Tommy McCabe.
And I will say this, our producer, Andy, I think put a comment in there. I feel like Gomez did play some minutes already this season, and he appeared against Tulsa, FC Tulsa on the blowout. He's a youngster on the roster. So that's what we got there. See, Brad, you said you have or you haven't done yours yet?
I have done my roster.
What has Brad got on his roster?
So my roster consists of mostly actually 3 cost players. I decided to take the hopefully these players make it a lot of assists route. So my roster consists of my top goal scorer, Albie Skendi, a midfielder, Tony Rocha, Brent Richards, Daniel Peterson, and finally the 1-point oddball player on my team, Hunter Gorski.
Awesome. Unfortunately, I did jot down my picks, but I left it at the office today, so I know some of them. I can't remember all of them. So I'm gonna let you, Brad. You can announce.
Oh,
who
I
picked
wanted to hear. I wanted to hear who you thought you picked.
Well, I know I did Rakowski, and I know I did Gorski. I know I
Yep.
did I believe I did Olaski, Milan.
Yep.
I believe I did Ugo.
Yep.
And the last one would be Jonathan Gomez.
Indeed. You went in order: Rakovsky, Olaski, Gorski, I got to sneeze. Akoli and Gomez.
I feel like it almost sounded like you were going to crack
I was
up
gonna
on
cry.
Okoli there with my fourth pick. It's one of those things. Any other drafts that we want to share or did Andy do one?
Yes.
I don't know if Andy, our producer, wants to jump on and announce his himself, or does he want to give it to you, Brad, to announce? We'll see where we go. There he is. There's our producer, Andy.
I'll be honest, I don't remember what I picked. So if Brad could just read them for me, that would be better.
Okay.
Was
Andy,
it just a random pick from our producer? Who knows? Let's find out what he got.
Andy picked in order: Rakovsky, Richards, Villanueva, Osadina, and McCabe.
All right, there we go. So, who else did we get picks from? If you want to just briefly share really quick, any other picks we got, just really quick.
So our other picks that we did were Nathan, Russell, and Parker. And I saw Russell did make a comment in here. He mentioned, can I do multiple donations and pick a second team? Yes, I do think it is more than okay to pick as many teams as you want. However, because of the way the form is set up through Google, you can only do one team per email, and I apologize for that.
So just create a new Google Gmail address, and you can just stuff the ballot.
You can look into just turning off email as requirement. But I don't want people to just spam the form.
Out of curiosity, what was Russell's first 5 picks?
First 5 picks in order were Rakovsky, Kiernan, Olaski, Gorski, McCabe.
All right, perfect. And yeah, maybe we don't turn off the email thing, because then we'll get a situation where someone stuffs the ballots like we had for our good friend Harry in San Antonio for our guest of the year last year. He got like an outrageous amount of votes when none of the other categories did. Although we did find out someone handed a tablet or a phone to their kid and said, "Hey, vote," and the kid just kept voting over and over and over for the same person. So that's how that happened. Let's go ahead and get things wrapped up here. Oh, Larry, did you have a comment?
No, that was me just spamming out votes, mostly for myself.
There we go. Is that what you do when it comes to the official U.S. balloting also as well? Do you spam out votes?
Well, you can, in fact, pick up 5 to 10, or I don't know exactly how many, but you can turn in other people's votes. It's totally legal. It's called ballot harvesting.
Oh, you do know that we do stream this live, so now you're going to be on the Fed's radar.
Hey, let 'em come.
Let's do this. Let's start wrapping things up here. Random soccer stuff to talk about. Anyone? Oh, Larry's got some soccer stuff to talk about. Go for it, Larry.
I got 2 words: Black Cats. Everybody's looking like, what the hell are we talking about? Sunderland going up to the championship, baby.
Oh, that's that one team that's on that one Netflix show, right?
Yeah, what's that show called?
Sunderland till I die.
Actually, it's interesting. I actually started watching that. Now my goal is to watch that. There's the Leeds United one. There's one that was recently released, but it's about Crystal Palace, but it's from like 10 years ago footage. So I'm going to be watching all these cool documentaries.
The one from Leeds is excellent.
And I know I'm a Tottenham fan, but I'm super excited for the upcoming All or Nothing Arsenal, because it's going to be based off of this past season where Arsenal choked at the end of the season. So I think every Tottenham fan is going to be watching that series, at least the last couple episodes of it. Brad, Dylan, any random soccer information or news from you?
Forest moved up to the Premier League. Congratulations to them in one of the most potentially what's the word I'm looking for? Controversial ways, with a bunch of missed calls for, I don't remember who they played against, but it's irrelevant. Nottingham Forest to the Premier League next year.
He said it's irrelevant. And you made Dylan cringe with that irrelevant comment, because Dylan's team is in that division. You do know that we support a championship team in our league, right? I mean, it's for
Good
the same
one.
level. Yeah, there we go.
Good one.
I'm smart. I make
Random
smart,
thought time.
smart words. Random thoughts. And so because you're a guest, Larry, I know you knew this was coming, but I'm going to give you a moment to think of your random thought. I'm going to go to Dylan first since we haven't heard from him for a little bit.
Yeah. Pride Month is here. So I now have a Walt Whitman poem called "O Tan-Faced Prairie Boy." It's so short, guys. It's 5 lines.
Words? Oh, lines. Jeez, that's not
5
short.
lines. Yeah.
5
And,
words would have been short.
Anyway, happy Pride, everyone.
Dylan's ready to reach through the camera and just like choke me out for messing with his thought there. Brad, your random thought.
So I'm just gonna one more time say, please sign up for Playing for Pride prior to tomorrow's game if you want all the points. I do have them timestamped when you submit them, so I will know if you are cheating the system and getting your picks in prior to kickoff. I will accept though for not full credit if you do turn it in before Saturday's game, because I want everybody to be able to participate in this month. It is a good charity, a good cause. My random thought is happy birthday to my grandmother, who is dealing with COVID, but is kicking its butt because she's a bad bleep, and I cannot say the other word. She's an amazing woman. I got to see her at the wedding last weekend, and just really happy that she was able to make it out, even if she did contract COVID from the entire ordeal.
There are so many words you can fill into that bleep, and I'm so curious as to which one Brad was trying to throw in there. But let's leave it to the imagination. Imagine what you think it is. You'll never know. Larry, your random thought.
First, thanks for having me, guys. It's been an honor. I've had a great time tonight. I really appreciate you having me on the show. I want to answer 2 of Dylan's questions that he likes to ask. Number 1, a hot dog is not a sandwich. It never has been. It never will be. Number 2, vegetables suck. They should not be eaten under any circumstances whatsoever. Ever.
All right, well, it's been great, everyone.
Dylan.
Larry had a nice time, and
So wait, Larry, you don't eat like any vegetable ever.
I will occasionally eat a salad, but I hear every time Dylan asks that question, these guys, almost all of them say friggin' Brussels sprouts, and I just cringe. I cringe internally, and just no.
So what we'll do, I'm going to start 2 GoFundMes right now. The first one's going to be, we'll do a GoFundMe to send Larry to Anderson's split pea soup, and he can go have some split pea soup on the road. The other one, we're going to do a GoFundMe for Dylan because we need to upgrade his home entertainment system. He's got something from like the 90s behind him there. We need to get him like a sound bar or a Bluetooth, tube or speaker or something. He's got something that looks like it even has a record player on top of it.
Oh, it is a record player. Let me spin some records. Dang, right? All of this attacking. Yeah, I feel so bad.
Everything I said was out of love, Dylan. Everything was said with love.
For your plumbing, for your apartment's plumbing, I feel bad for all of these things. Right.
Hashtag Dylan Allen
You're
out.
all about the 90s. I refuse to take this.
I'm all about the 90s. I am all about the 90s when I watch one of those shows like on CNN or MTV where it's like, remembering the 90s. But one thing that I cringe on is watching all these young people dressing like they're from the 90s, because 90s had the worst fashion sense ever. And now they're trying to bring it back.
You dress like it's the 90s, right?
I'm not dressed like the 90s.
This guy dresses like it's the 90s. Anyway, quit slandering my handmade table and record player situation. It's golden.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank.
I think that'll be the Patreon for this month. It'll be a bare-fisted, bare-chested cage match between Mr. Ray Samora and yours truly.
Let's do it, Dylan. We'll even live stream it, and we'll invite Larry back, and him, Alan, and Brad could do the commentary on it.
I'd pay $5 for that.
We'll put on our own pay-per-view. We'll do a fight. But hey, Dylan, but it has to be no holds barred.
And he's doing another left hook.
No holds barred, right? Like original, like UFC 1 fighting stuff going on here. You could do anything.
what is that, like no groin shots? And that's like the only rule. No groin
Yeah.
shots,
No,
no
you can
biting.
do that at UFC 1.
You could do it in UFC 1.
Oh, okay.
Ray was thinking that exclusively. Ray has no rules.
Yeah, it's
That's all I
probably
was
There are
thinking
no
about right
rules
there.
in Ray's Fight Club.
I want to thank all of our listeners for listening to us. If you're still listening at this point, thank you so much for doing so. And there are some of you still listening, which is pretty damn amazing at this point. But thank you so much for doing so. Again, follow us on social medias. Donate to Athlete Alley if you have the opportunity. Playing for Pride. Tweet out your support. Larry's trying to hold up a scarf, but his green screen is not working too well there. What's the day you die, Larry?
Probably sooner rather than later because I don't eat vegetables.
That's what I was going to think there. I want to thank Larry for taking some time to join us today. As always, Dylan, Brad, and our producer, Andy. Alan, we missed you tonight, but we did have another bearded, awesome guest here to cover for you. So, and look, we got Grayson trying to like magically appear through the screen there. He wants to just touch
All
the
right,
beard.
go away.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for everyone here. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, and we are out.